welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into the 2025 Husqvarna Vitpilen 801.
Yeah, the new one.
We've got a really detailed review article here, and basically our mission is to pull out the key stuff you need to know about this bike.
Figure out what makes it tick, right?
Exactly. It's pitched as this modern scrambler.
Yeah.
You know, where old school looks meet cutting edge tech and maybe a bit of adventure capability.
That blend seems central. Timeless style, but with like genuinely modern features.
And the review suggests it's aimed at riders who want that flexibility. City commuting during the week, maybe some light trails on the weekend.
Absolutely. Someone who appreciates, a ride that's both dynamic and looks, well, distinct, stylish.
Okay, so let's dig into that first impression. The review keeps coming back to this idea of balancing form and function.
Mm-hmm. How it looks versus what it can actually do.
Yeah. It sounds like it's supposed to feel at home in traffic, but also, not be scared of a gravel path.
More than just A to B transport. The review even calls it a statement of individuality and adventure.
That's quite a claim. Does the tech back that up?
Well, let's look. The engine's a 799cc parallel twin, liquid-cooled.
Okay, power figures.
Pretty healthy, 105 horsepower at 8,000 RPM, and torque is 88 newton meters. That's about 65 pound-feet at 6,500 RPM.
So, decent punch then. Should feel quite lively.
Yeah, it suggests it'll be fun, responsive, good for zipping around, but also has enough grunt for cruising.
Right, and it's paired with a 6-speed manual.
Yeah.
But with a quick shifter.
Yes, standard quick shifter. Bidirectional, too.
Ah, so up and down shifts without the clutch. That's a nice touch.
Definitely. The review says it makes changes smoother, faster, less effort, which is always good.
Reduces fatigue, I guess, and just feels more connected when you're riding actively.
Exactly. And the other components seem pretty solid, too. Suspension is WP Apex.
WP, okay. So, quality stuff. Upside-down fork.
Yep, upside-down fork and a rear monoshock. The rear's got adjustable preload.
Good for dialing it in a bit for rider weight or luggage. And it brakes.
Dual 320mm discs up front, single 260 at the back. And cornering ABS is standard.
Quartering ABS, that's a big safety feature, isn't it? Works even when you're leaned over.
It does, a real confidence booster, especially if something unexpected happens mid-corner.
Okay, good to know. What about weight and fuel?
Wet weight is listed as 212 kilos, so about 467 pounds.
Seems fairly average for this size, maybe slightly on the lighter side. Should handle well.
Yeah, should be pretty nimble. And the fuel tank is 15 liters, which is just under 4 U.S. gallons.
Decent range then, probably, for those weekend rides.
Should be good for, 300, maybe 350 kilometers, depending on how you ride. Top speed, around 190 kilometers or 118 mile per hour.
Okay, so beyond the core specs, what are the standout features the review highlights?
Well, that full-color TFT display gets a lot of mentions.
Not just a basic speedo, then.
No, it's like a proper dashboard.
Yeah.
Speed, RPM, gear, fuel, but also navigation. It integrates with your smartphone.
Ah, so you get maps on the screen.
Turn by turn, yeah. Plus, you can see calls, messages, control music, all without pulling your phone out.
That's becoming almost essential these days, isn't it? Very convenient.
Totally. And then there are the riding modes. 4 of them.
Standard stuff like street and rain.
Yep, street for every day. Rain mode softens the throttle and bumps up the safety aids for wet conditions.
Makes sense.
Then there's off-road mode. That's interesting. It adjusts the ABS, lets the rear wheels slide a bit more, changes power delivery for loose stuff.
So proper tuning for gravel roads and the like. What's the fourth one?
Explorer mode. And this one's cool because it's customizable.
Oh, how so?
You can actually tweak the traction control levels and the throttle response mapping yourself. Fine-tune it exactly how you like it.
Okay, that's quite advanced. Suggests they're aiming at riders who really know what they want from the bike's feel.
I think so. It offers a level of control you don't always find in this segment.
And we already mentioned the cornering ABS and traction control working together for stability.
Right. Crucial for safety and confidence, both in the city and on, less predictable surfaces.
And the quick shifter and that WP suspension definitely add to the package.
Absolutely. And you can't ignore the design, that minimalist scrambler look.
Yeah, the round LED headlight, the flat seat. It's very distinctively Husqvarna, isn't it?
It is. A real mix of retro cues and modern lines, and that high-mounted exhaust.
Looks cool, but is it practical?
The review says yes. Improves ground clearance for those light off-road moments, and apparently gives it a richer sound, too.
The sound. Always important. Okay, let's talk a bit more about design and comfort. The review mentions clean lines, LED lighting all around.
Yeah, good visibility, modern look. Color options are matte black, white, and metallic gray blue, apparently.
And ergonomics. How's it feel to sit on?
Upright riding position. The review highlights that for good visibility, especially in town, handlebars are positioned to reduce wrist strain.
So relatively comfortable.
Seems like it. The flat seat is maybe more suited for shorter to medium rides than, say, cross-country touring, but adequate cushioning. Seat height is 850 millimeter.
Bit tall for some maybe, but good for visibility.
Possibly, yeah. And they even considered aerodynamics, apparently, to reduce wind blast a bit at speed.
Okay, so they've thought about the rider experience. What about handling? We mentioned the WP suspension.
Right, praised for balancing comfort and control, and the frame is a chromoly steel trellis.
Known for being light and stiff, right? Good for agility and stability.
Exactly what you want in a bike like this. It aims for that nimble feel.
And practicality. Does the scrambler style compromise it?
Doesn't sound like it too much. That 15-liter tank gives decent range. The high exhaust and a skid plate offer some protection.
And the size and weight make it okay for city use?
Yeah, the review suggests it's compact and manageable enough for urban riding.
Okay, let's really get into the engine performance. 105 HP, 88 Nm torque. How does it deliver that power?
The review emphasizes spirited acceleration and effortless cruising, so sounds like a fun, responsive engine.
But smooth too, not peaky.
Apparently quite smooth, thanks to modern fuel injection and a tuned exhaust. It's meant to be refined.
And that quick shifter, again, makes using the power easier.
Yeah, adds convenience and performance, makes gear changes almost seamless, adding to the riding enjoyment.
And this theme of versatility just keeps popping up. Good in the city.
Capable for light off-road, thanks to the suspension and ground clearance.
And okay for highway cruising too.
Seems so. Comfortable enough at speed, and that fuel range helps. It really does sound like an all-rounder.
Balanced performance is the key phrase here maybe. Agile handling from the frame and suspension, plus a usable power band.
Exactly. And backed up by those rider aids, the cornering ABS, traction control to stop unwanted wheel spin, and those different riding modes.
Let's circle back to the tech for a moment. We touched on the TFT display. Customizable layouts.
Yeah, you can choose what info you see most prominently, and automatic brightness adjustment, which is always handy.
And the smartphone connection via the app, navigation, diagnostics.
Right. Check fuel, mileage, maintenance reminders, plus the calls, messages, music control. It's all integrated.
Very connected. Then the safety tech, cornering ABS, traction control.
Essential modern features. And the riding modes tailoring performance, especially that customizable Explorer mode.
That feels like a standout, doesn't it? The level of personalization.
It does. Plus the quick shifter for ease of use and the full LED lighting.
Including adaptive headlights. That adjust with lean angle.
Yeah, that's a pretty premium feature. Really helps light up the inside of a corner at night. Big safety benefit.
And finally, tire pressure monitoring system, TPMS.
Yep. Practical touch. Alerts you if your pressure is low. Good for safety and efficiency.
Okay, so it's packed with modern stuff. How does it compare to the competition? The review mentions Ducati and Triumph.
Right. Versus the Ducati Scrambler Desert Sled.
What's the verdict there?
Well, Vitpilen 801 has significantly more power, 105 horsepower, versus the Duke's 73.
That's quite a difference.
It is. The Husky also has a more modern, minimalist look compared to the Ducati's more traditional Scrambler vibe, and maybe a lower price, the review hints.
But the Desert Sled is more off-road focused.
Yeah, longer suspension travel, generally seen as more capable when the going gets really rough. The Husky seems aimed more at light off-road.
Okay, and against the Triumph Scrambler 1200.
Here, the Vitpilen is lighter. Noticeably so, according to the review. 212 kilogram versus around 230 kilograms for the Triumph.
So potentially more agile, easier to handle, especially in town or on twisty roads.
That's the suggestion. More nimble. And the smartphone integration is highlighted as a modern edge for the Husky.
You got the Triumph.
The Triumph Scrambler 1200 generally has more torque, which is great for grunt, especially off-road or carrying luggage. It's perhaps seen as the more heavy-duty option.
So the Vitpilen 801 is kind of threading the needle between them.
Seems like it. The review boils its advantages down to that modern aesthetic, the lightweight agility, potential value, and its versatility for city and light adventure.
Makes sense. It carves out its own niche. Did the review cover common questions? FAQs.
It did, yeah. Quickly recapping, top speed around 190 kilometers, 118 mile per hour, 105 horsepower. Cornering ABS is standard.
Off-road.
Suitable for light adventures, gravel roads, that sort of thing. Not designed for hardcore trails.
Suspension.
WP Apex, adjustable preload on the rear. Quick shifter is bidirectional. Fuel tank is 15 liters.
Range again.
Estimated 350 kilometers, roughly. Comfort is good for short to medium rides, maybe less so for very long highway stints due to the minimalist design.
And the comparison to the desert sled again.
Basically, modern versus traditional style, Husky has more power, Duke has more off-road focus, potential price difference. And yes, smartphone connectivity via the Husqvarna app is confirmed.
Okay, so after going through all that detail from the review, what's the big picture takeaway for you?
I think it really is about redefining the modern scrambler. It's not just retro looks bolted onto a standard bike. It genuinely integrates style, useful tech, and versatile performance.
Yeah, I agree. It feels like a compelling package. That balance between looking good and actually being capable seems pretty well executed based on this review.
It definitely appeals to that rider who wants one bike that can handle the commute, look cool doing it, and still be fun for exploring on the weekends.
So something for you listening to think about. How important is that blend of modern tech and classic or distinct styling in your ideal bike?
Yeah, does that combination resonate with how you ride or the kind of riding you want to do?
What kind of adventures could a bike like this Vitpilen 801 open up for you? It's worth considering what truly matters beyond just the specs in a motorcycle that fits your style and needs.